Christian soldiers marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the royal master leads against the foe. Forward into battle, see his banners go. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Oh, for a faith that will not shrink, though pressed by every foe, that will not tremble on the brink of any earthly woe, that will not murmur or complain beneath a chastening rod, but in the hour of grief or pain will lean upon its God. A faith that shines more bright and clear when tempests rage without, that when in danger knows no fear, in darkness feels no doubt. Lord, give us such a faith as this, and then whate'er may come, we'll taste and hear the hallowed bliss of an eternal home. A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never-dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky, to serve the present age, my calling to fulfill. Oh, may it all my powers engage to do my Master's will. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live, and O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give. Help me to watch and pray, and on thyself rely, assured if I my trust betray, I shall forever die. Rise up, O man of God, have done with lesser things. Give heart and mind and soul and strength to serve the King of Kings. Rise up, O man of God, his kingdom tarries long. Bring in the day of brotherhood and end the night of wrong. Rise up, O man of God, the church for you doth wait. Her strength unequal to her task, rise up and make her great. Lift high the cross of Christ, tread where his feet have trod, as brothers of the Son of Man, rise up, O men of God. one?
Yesterday.
Which one?
Nor.
Good evening. Hey, slacker.
Let's
Let's edify.
Saints of professionalism
Northeast.
Northeast.
Northeast corner setback.
So we now have 3 posts set.
We have 3. I was going to start.
What do you mean, slacker?
Well, let's
Exactly
see here.
what he
It
said.
was 8:35. You hadn't joined, so I went ahead and started the video. I didn't even get notification that you joined until just before the end of the song.
Oh,
Slacker. I knew that if I started the video and the song, or started the stream and the video, you would finally get the hint. Hey, it's time to begin our Acts study.
well,
You are here.
yeah, I'm here.
And, I think we did finish Acts 19 last week. So it's
Yep.
my turn to start us off with a review. Hello, everybody. That's CJ, a.k.a. Slacker. I am Levi, a.k.a. Slacker, too. Because you know what? I didn't start it until 8:35.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I had to give O'Shea a time to finish the prayer. By the time we got to the reading done tonight, it was almost 8:30. We had a lovely reading and a lovely chit chat. You missed it.
I did.
How was your reading today? Amy's listening to it right now, by the way.
Good. I did it at like 5:30.
Sam does not know why he is back in Facebook jail. We know. Because you have broken the Facebook rules. We don't know what rules, but then nobody else does either.
They just don't like you, Sam.
They don't. Hey, Tigger.
I'll be right back. So I have not hit the bathroom, so I'm gonna do that.
Alrighty. So, hello, Sam. Who else is with us tonight? Don't know. What? It doesn't have anything to do with all the sweets you ate today, does it? You know, like the pumpkin bars and all the brownies. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. You didn't think we saw you eat all those, did you? I told you to have more fish. It is a good thing that you have other Facebooks. You should figure out what it is you're doing. They really, Facebook really does need to give people explanation for what they're doing that lands them in jail. It really does. They really do. There should be something, and saying that a post goes against community standards is not adequate enough of a explanation. But what can we do? We have agreed by our consent when we signed up to Facebook. We have agreed to abide by certain community standards. We have no clue as to what those standards are because they're ever changing. And they can change those without warning. They can change those without giving you proper notice. And you just have to hope that you don't anger the kings of Facebook. Hello, DCG. You don't know how tired you are until you lay down. I fully understand that, my sister. Somebody kept me up gaming late last night, and I won't mention any names, but his initials are Levi. So CJ thought I was going to say CJ, but gotcha.
I did.
CJ did party around with me last night on a game that we have mutually loaded on our computers, and we had a great time. So that was fun. It was the first time he's got to game with me, and it was about 2:00 his time when he finally went to bed.
Yep.
It was about 2:00 my time when I finally went to bed.
Even another hour after left.
Maybe. Actually, I gamed for another half hour on Warframe and then laid in bed.
Who is messing with the views?
That would be Alicia. You know how she likes to mess with you.
All right, we better get into it.
Debbie knew it was you. Sam says he doesn't do gaming because it drains the phone fast.
Well, I have a PS4, Sam.
I have a computer. So I do a lot of things on my computer. I spend most of my time, if I'm near the computer, or I should say when I can stand being near the computer, I will do a lot of things. I do a lot of graphic design. I do a lot of things for the congregation. And so I do a lot of things for CDM. But then there comes a time when I just simply kick back, relax, and take a stress break. And for me, that is taking a bit of time to jump into a game and relieve some frustration, usually at programs. And I get to go slaughter imaginary characters in space as a space ninja. Yeah, it's fun. Debbie says, keep going, Alicia. Hey, Amos, found another Cub Cadet for you in and around Des Moines, I think it is. So I bookmarked it.
All right, 1 Acts chapter 20 today.
So to bring us up to date so that CJ can begin, the book of Acts is about Acts of the church, which began with the apostles. Actually, the book of Acts begins with Luke, opens with Luke displaying for us the ascension of Christ, the very last day or so that Jesus was on earth with the apostles. Then we have the apostles choosing the number 12, which was Matthias, I should say, to take Judas's place. And we open with the establishment of the church in Acts chapter 2. And from there, we watch as the events unfold, how the apostles and the church grew, the church grew with the acts, the miracles that the apostles did, and the miracles that were God's way of confirming the message to all that heard those that preached. We saw the first martyr of the church with Stephen in Acts chapter 7. We saw the introduction of Saul, the man of Tarsus, as he stood witness at Stephen's murder, and eventually he became an apostle himself. We see the inclusion the opening of the door of the kingdom to the Gentiles, and that was with Peter and Cornelius in Acts chapter 10. And we then see more of Paul coming Saul, who is also known as Paul, coming in as he does the first missionary trips to reaches beyond Judah, Israel, and Samaria. We see him going into what's known as Asia Minor, missionary trip 1, missionary trip 2. And we now pick up in Acts chapter 19 with Paul on missionary trip 3 as he is beginning to wind it down. And 19 begins with Apollos at Corinth, Paul in Ephesus. And as he's in Ephesus, there was a group of men, disciples, it says, that were, he says unto them, have you received the Holy Spirit? And they said, no, we haven't even heard of such a thing. Well, there is such a thing. So he asked them about their baptism. And they said, well, we were baptized into John. And so we have Paul explaining to them that, yes, John did baptize with the baptism of repentance unto, repentance. We looked at that from both Mark chapter 1 and Luke chapter 3. And, but he said that wasn't enough because John's baptism looked forward to the one that who should come after. And so you need to be baptized differently. And then we have them obeying. We have the account of the 7 sons of Sceva who took it upon themselves. These, I always love the sons of Sceva. I always chortle over them. Not because of the fact that they escaped with their very life, but that these men, and it calls them vagabond Jews. These were essentially worthless fellows, and they were desirous to make profit, as it were. They wanted to bring glory, at least, if nothing else, upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to call upon or call over those who had evil spirits the name of Jesus. And they did so in a weird way by saying, we adjure you by Jesus whom Paul preaches. Okay. They didn't believe in Jesus. They simply did it they said, okay, Paul is teaching Jesus, and every time he casts out spirits, he uses the name of Jesus. So we're going to do that same thing. Hello, Sister Love. And Debbie's going to bow out. You have a good night. Nah, you're going to have to bail us out again, my sister. And these 7 sons of Sceva approached this evil spirit, this man possessed, and they said, we adjure you by Jesus whom Paul preaches. And this particular evil spirit answers and says, Jesus I know and Paul I know, but who are you? I always love that response. That's always what tickles me. Jesus I know, Paul I know, but who are you? How dare you try to try to cast me out? You don't even believe in these people. And so the man then leaps upon all 7 of them and whips them within an inch of their life, so they flee out of the house, torn, naked, and wounded. They flee out of that house naked and wounded. And that instance, even that event caused the church to grow, caused fear and wonder. And it again goes to prove that Paul's message is true. Well, this then causes another thing. It's called an uproar, a riot at Ephesus. And we talked about the last 3 weeks, the riot at Ephesus, and how Demetrius the silversmith gathers a group of craftsmen who did like he did, i.e., and that is made images, made idols out of silver and wood and gold, what have you. And they they get together and he preaches to them about the evils of Paul. And they go into an uproar. They cause an uproar in the city, grab Paul's companions, rush into the theater, and with the rest of the town, essentially, with the rest of the city, or a big batch of it. And no one knows, other than Demetrius and his crew, exactly what's going on. But they were willing to, everybody's like, hey, great is Diana of the Ephesians, great is Diana of the Ephesians. And they do that for over 2 hours until finally the town clerk calls them down. And town clerk says, shut up and go home. We don't want to bring Rome's wrath upon us. If you had a civil matter, take it to the courts. Anything else? Well, what is it? Anything else? Do it in a lawful assembly, not at a riot. Now go home. And so we leave off with the end of this uproar, and CJ picks up in chapter 20 after things had calmed down.
So Levi, why don't you take us to 1 through 6?
Take us to verse 6. And after the uproar was ceased, Paul called unto him the disciples. Thank you. And embraced them, and departed for to go into Macedonia. And when he had gone over those parts, and had given them much exhortation, he came into Greece, and there abode 3 months. And when the Jews laid wait for him, as he was about to sail into Syria, he proposed to return through Macedonia. And there were accompanied him into Asia Sopater of Berea, and of the Thessalonians Aristarchus and Secundus, and Gaius of Derbe, and Timotheus, and of Asia Tychicus and Trophimus. These going before tarried for us at Troas, and we sailed away from Philippi after the days of unleavened bread, and came unto them to Troas in 5 days, where we abode 7 days.
All right, so after the uproar, Paul calls the disciples to himself, the disciples in Ephesus. He hugs them, and then he goes to Macedonia. And let me put up my map here. So he was at Ephesus, and he goes here to Macedonia, and
that's not very legible. It's kind of a jumble. Can we bring that area up much bigger? Because we only need to focus there. That's a bit better, but we really only need to focus on the part where Ephesus over to Macedonia and Achaia is. Not really needing all of Judah and all that stuff in it.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, I'm gonna have to teach you.
Oh, okay. So
I can't do it right now though, because it requires some graphic cutting.
You know what? Maybe we'll do it this way.
Ooh, necessity is the mother of invention, my brother.
Okay.
Dun,
We're
dun, dun,
going to go here.
Get out the magnifier. Ooh.
And so we're nope, not doing it. I'm just leave it like it was.
Okay.
So we're in Macedonia.
Can we see that one with the circles on it?
Doing just that.
Because the one you were showing earlier didn't have the circles that I could see. Then again, my glasses are off, and that kind of.
come on now. Sorry, I started from the beginning. Look at all these notes I've had. Alright, so they're in Macedonia. Paul goes over to Macedonia.
There's no circles.
I know they're animated. They'll come in when we talk about the places. So Paul goes over to Macedonia, and then he
Well, let me have that.
he goes over to that region to include almost many words,
Ah.
and then he came to Greece, and that is the lower part of that area. It's really hard to see in gray there. It says Greece, and so Paul comes from Macedonia down to Greece. I probably just need a better map, is what it is.
Well, like I said, you can actually take like half of your map and blow it up to where people can see it. But also, eSword does have a lot of these maps, and this area I think that we can pick from to blow up and show. But anyhow, not right now though.
I'll fix it for next week. And he stayed there in Greece for 3 months. This is verse 3. And then the Jews find out he's there, or the Jews there plotted to kill him. And then he sails to Syria. Sorry, he was about to sail to Syria. He decided to turn through Macedonia
That might be tech.
and sail to Berea and accompanied him to Asia. Also, Aristarchus was for some of these names who we read in other epistles like Romans. There's a greeting to Aristarchus. This may be the same one. Also, we have Aristarchus and Secundus of the Thessalonians. And then we have Gaius of Derbe. Remember, Derbe is Paul was there on his first.
He's kind of Derby's kind of right in the middle of your map. Yeah, right about where you're.
Wow, this isn't any brighter. Here's Derby. Sorry, I am love tech, I guess. So, and then we have Timothy. Of course, we know a lot about Timothy, right? As he writes to Timothy in First, Second Timothy. Also, Timothy joins Paul and Barnabas as they're going. I think that's their second missionary journey there in Acts 16, right? In Acts 16.
16, I think, is I think he came back through Derby and Lystra. In the second one, or that was on his.
So he's still on the first one.
Hold on.
going anywhere.
All right. Good night, Darlene.
I don't know if that did it or not.
Okay. No,
Didn't move, did it?
no.
I need another needle.
I thought it was the start of the second missionary journey in 16.
Well, in yes, in 15 is the start of the second missionary journey. You're right. Because at the very end of the 15, you have the contention between Paul and Barnabas being so sharp that they departed from each other. And Barnabas takes Mark, goes to Cyrene or Cyprus, and Paul chooses Silas and heads back through Asia Minor. And then I'm trying to figure out where the second one ends.
Okay, now listen, guys. I tested it with my
I believe the second one ends in 17, 18.
Well, here, that's what I'm looking for. You have to figure out where they go back to Antioch. So in 16, you end with the Philippian jailer. 17, you're going through with Berea, Thessalonica,
Corinth.
and
18, 18.
Yeah, okay. So he goes to Corinth in 18.
And then at the end of 18, he goes to back to Antioch, I think.
He goes in 21, he's heading to Jerusalem. He sails from Ephesus, landed at Caesarea, goes up and goes to 22. He's back in Antioch.
Right, 1822. So this is the
So
third.
we are on the third. We are on the third missionary journey.
So all that to say is Timothy is another name that we read over the next chapter 20, and from chapter 16 we know a few things about Timothy. His father was a Greek. His mother was a Jew. Kind of a interesting dynamic there with Timothy. And of course, later in Paul's life, Timothy proves to be very instrumental in working with Paul and working with the church.
Even in here, you see him even in the second missionary journey, you see him very instrumental in Paul's efforts. You have Silas, yes, as your primary, but you see him pick up Luke. You see him pick up Timothy. Where did he pick up Timothy? Was it in? It had to have been before. It had been in 16, 15, not 15, 16.
16, 1 through 5.
Yeah.
So another name we read of Tychicus and Trophimus.
Tychicus and Trophimus.
And Trophimus. Before I insert foot and mouth, let me see if we read of those in Acts 16. I may be
No, you don't see Trophimus and Tychicus.
That was another Tryphena and Tryphusa, two women. Sorry. Do we know anything about them?
Well, sure, they were Paul's companions.
Right, Paul's companions. I feel like we made take a guess somewhere else also.
Yeah, we do in another passage. Out another letter. I'll get that one for you. Don't know if you got it.
So he's got Paul's taking up a very merry crew.
It's
Got a very merry crew with him. So they end up going to Troas, and Troas is located right here in verse 5. These men going ahead of waiting for us at Troas. So the men are listed. We're waiting in Troas for Paul and he
Oh.
Paul and let's see.
We read by the way, we read of Tychicus in 4 spots. Acts chapter 20, verse 4. Colossians 4, verse 7. Ouch. Ephesians 6, verse 21. And 2 Timothy 4, verse 12.
In this study. Mason was saying hi. So, thank you.
My daughter's digging in my ankle because there's something like I think I got something like it almost feels like oops, I just think I got rid of it. Anyway, fiberglass or something in my ankle and it feels weird. It hurts.
So the man in verse 5 meet Paul and his companions at Troas, and here is Troas. Where's my mouse?
I know.
Oh, okay. Troas is right here, so they are waiting for Paul and his companions to get to Troas. And so, verse 6, we sailed away from Philippi after the days of unleavened bread.
Tweezers, sweetie.
And 5 days, joined them at Troas, where we stayed 7 days. Now that's going to be very important when we get to verse 7. So,
Can I have a pause a minute?
Yeah.
Sam, if you want a study of Ecclesiastes, CJ did a study of Ecclesiastes on God's answers, I believe it was it not?
Yeah.
Just a year or so ago. We're probably going to take a pause on the Bible studies and just continue with the topical studies after Acts for a short while, and then we might get back in because, again, remember, evening edification is primarily a what's on your mind type of a thing.
Right.
And this study of Acts has already drug in on almost 2 years.
Yeah. What was it? It doesn't seem like we're going to get very far today. Like we're going. So, at any rate, but we sailed from Philippi after the days of unleavened bread, and in 5 days joined them at Troas, where we stayed 7 days. Now we're gonna learn why they stayed so long at Troas in the preceding verses. Do you got anything else on 1 through 6?
A little bit of background is that Greece and Macedonia were originally two different countries. They were united under Philip of Macedon, the father of Alexander the Great, and for a time until Alexander's empire fell apart, they were considered Greece the entirety. Even now today, they're back under Greece, under the country heading of Greece, but they were still considered two separate countries. That is why you have two different things listed. You have Macedonia, you have Greece, but you also have Macedonia and Achaia. You have Macedonia and Achaia, you have Achaia, and Corinth, and these different things like that. And so that's why you have these listed the way they are in the book of Acts, because remember that God is 100% accurate. No, it's still there. It's still there, and you're pushing it down further into the skin. Would you stop? Let's see here. It is another thing to draw out is verse 2. And sorry, we can't do that. I think Ezra's on tech right now.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2 of chapter 20. He goes to Macedonia, and when he's gone there, he goes over the entire parts of Macedonia. So he goes over the country of Macedonia, giving them exhortation. And then he comes into Greece. So he deals with Berea. He deals with Thessalonica. He goes into these other countries. And nope, you just brushed over it again. Here, I'll have. Who is it just walked in? Was that Shea? And so he didn't just stay in Macedonia, or rather, he didn't just stay in one spot in Macedonia. He went over the entire country. And this wasn't just one day here, one day there type of a thing.
It was over the course of 3 months.
Yeah.
Night, night. Sleep. I.
Sleep.
Sweet dreams. Love you. Peaceful rest. God bless. Good night.
Good night, CJ. Good night, Sam. Good night, Dad.
Good night.
Debbie and Darlene have already headed to bed. Now, he spends 3 months in Greece, not 3 months in Macedonia.
Right.
So he's been there he's been in Macedonia for a while, and then he comes to Greece and abides in Greece. And while he's there in Greece, whichever town he's in, more than likely Achaia or Corinth, but it doesn't say. While he's in Greece, the Jews are laying in wait for him again. The more the things stay the same, the more they change. The more they change, the more they stay the same. Everywhere he goes, he's being beset by Jews who can't get it through their head that, God's covenant has changed, right?
Right.
So he leaves. Now notice they're laying in wait for him as he's about to sail. He's already getting ready to go. He's going bye 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 bye. As so does the boys meant bye bye bye. So he leaves. But instead of sailing through Sopater or through Syria, he goes back through Macedonia. So they're laying in wait, waiting for him to sail through Syria into Syria. He goes back and walks back through Macedonia. Boy, that Paul, he's a canny one. Remember how when he left Berea, he went to Thessalonica over land while they thought he was sailing somewhere else. He's got some. He's not a spring chicken, is he?
No.
So he's got a bunch of people there with him, as you mentioned, his companions. And notice it's not just one companion of one city.
Right.
Why is this important that we know who his companions are?
One thing I think of is Paul's influence.
How about the aspect that what's he doing here?
He's preaching the gospel.
But there's something else. Where's he going?
He's headed to Jerusalem.
Okay. And I'm trying to catch exactly something else. Turn over to 1 Corinthians 16.
Oh, he's gonna. Oh yeah. He's gonna bring the collection of the Corinthians and those of the care back to Jerusalem.
Now, let's read this real quick. We're going to go down to 8. All right. So we're going to read through 8. Now, concerning the collection of the saints, as I have given order to the churches of Galatia, even so do you. You can go to the NKJV. That's where CJ's reading from. I'll read from that. Where is Galatia?
Galatia is. Is it on my map?
Should be.
Galatia. Oh, right above Iconium.
So this is. Hey, I'm missing those maps. Okay, so Iconium is where? It's in. It's a region in Asia Minor, correct?
Yes.
So I see it. It's there above Pamphylia, right in the middle of your screen, of your map. So this is a region in Asia Minor, and he says, even as I've given order to the churches of Galatia. So all the churches within Galatia. Thank you, CJ. That's perfect. So all of this area, including Iconium and above, to the either side, over to Cappadocia, over to all of that area roughly, is Galatia. And all the churches within that area were told this same command. And he's giving it to who?
The Corinthians.
Corinthians. And Corinth is over in Greece.
Greece.
Okay. So he said, upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by him in store, as God hath prospered him, that there be no gatherings when I come. When I come, whomsoever you shall approve by your letters, them will I send to bring your liberality unto Jerusalem. And if it be meet that I go also, they shall go with me. Okay, I'm going to pause there a minute. As you read this list, we have, and there accompanied him into Asia, Sopater of Berea, that's from Macedonia area, and of the Thessalonians, Aristarchus and Secundus, and Gaius of Derbe. Where's Derbe at?
In the Galatia area.
And Timothy. Timothy was from where? Lystra.
Lystra, right.
Also of the near of the Galatia Pamphylia area, Iconium area, and of Asia he has Tychicus and Trophimus. Why is this important? These are representatives of areas of Galatia and Asia and Macedonia. Now, when I come, see, we already read that one, verse 5. Now I will come unto you when I shall pass through Macedonia, for I do pass through Macedonia. And it may be that I will remain or even spend the winter with you, that you may send me on my journey wherever I go. For I do not wish to see you now on the way, but I hope to stay a while with you if the Lord permits. But I will tarry in Ephesus until Pentecost. Now, I stopped there because what do we have here? Verse 6 of Acts chapter 20. We sailed away from Philippi after the days of unleavened bread, and came unto them to Troas in 5 days, where we abode 7 days. What's the feast of unleavened bread?
Passover, right?
Right. Right before Pentecost. You remember that was when Jesus was crucified?
Right.
50 days before Pentecost? The Feast of Unleavened Bread? This kind of is interestingly familiar now, isn't it? And so you have him going from Macedonia into Greece, back to Macedonia, and then over into Asia. And departing into going to Ephesus.
So that would take us through verse 6. Our time's about up. Do we want to leave it there or
I'll
go?
let you make that decision. You're the one leading on this chapter.
Well, there's a lot to be said on 7 through 12, so I guess we can leave him there.
All right.
I had notes through verse 16. Yeah. But alright, so next week we will see what happens there in Troas. with Paul and his companions.
So that's it for tonight. That's
Haha. Can't get in.
That was a good study.
yeah, probably perhaps some things you hadn't thought about. Some interesting side notes bringing in, and some things are going to get really, really interesting very shortly.
Right.
So, as CJ says, we've got a lot to discuss on the next week, and so Sam, CJ might be able to get you the work that he did on Ecclesiastes, if you'd like to listen to that in-depth study. That one took quite a while too, as I recall. Not as long as 2 years as we did here, but it did take a little while. They only had 12 chapters to go through. But the few episodes I caught of it, it was pretty good study. And yes, I did catch some of it because I was on my way to work. Imagine how that works. So give that a listen, and perhaps CJ would be willing to re-air that at some point in time here on CEM. That was a good study, just for y'all's all's edification.
That's right.
We have no problem re-airing a bunch of these, and like I said, evening edification primarily is for what's on your mind. And this one was a new. Back 2 years ago, we sat down and said, you know what, CJ, would you like to dual stream with me? And he's like, sure. What are we going to do? How about we do Acts? He says. So we decided to give that a trial run, and here we are 2 years later. Like, what in the world were we getting into?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pick up the pace in chapter 10. I don't know. It might take. I think we can finish it by February, by year 3.
Some of it is going to pick up really quickly. Some of it's not going to be. Some of it is going to be quick, a lot quicker paced. As we get into the captivity of Paul, and some of it isn't. So it'll probably all balance out. But right now, things are headed for a very climatic finish.
That's right.
So, we don't get all the meat in it, Sam. No way. You can spend a lifetime of years. You can spend a year of Sundays and never, ever get all the meat out of Acts that there is.
Right.
That is the beauty of the Lord's word.
It's living.
It's not that the Lord's word ever changes. It's that your perspective changes.
Right.
Your understanding changes as you go through experiences, as you study and come to a deeper knowledge and a deeper faith. So,
well, thank you all for being here. And remember, here at CEM, we want to do 3 things. We want to glorify God, edify the saints, and answer any spiritual questions you may have. Thank you all, and God bless.
we always strive to do that, to edify one another, so that whether we wake tomorrow to serve God here on this earth, or we wake tomorrow to serve him up there, exactly where we'll be, for we'll see you then.